The following report contains some disturbing images.
It's 4 days since the crash. International experts have arrived and are investigating. But this is still a war zone. This morning, at least one more civilian would fall victim to this vicious conflict. We're on our way to the crash site when our driver gets a panicked phone call.
This is his 13-year-old daughter. She's on the phone, she's crying, she's saying their house has just been bombed.
We head back into town. Nervous rebels have sealed off the area around the railway station. Suddenly, shots ring out.
There's some shooting going on now. Not quite clear what's happening, but there's some very agitated men on the road there. Some of them with guns.
Around the back of the station, the rebels have taken up position. We can hear the faint thuds of mortars or shells landing. There's a battle going on somewhere between here and the airport, which is held by government forces.
He says we're not terrorists that are dying, it's peaceful people who are dying. And we can hear some more shelling going on right now.
Just around the corner, there's a block of flats. Several rockets have hit here, residents tell us, shattering windows. Then we see the crater. And the first victim. A woman. She looks to be in her 40s or early 50s. She must have been crossing the yard when the rocket struck.
Well, this is a residential block. We don't know where these shells or rockets came from, but these people are most definitely civilians, and we can hear the shelling still going on periodically as I speak.
Over the weekend, emergency service workers, under the direction of armed rebels, began collecting bodies from the crash site in the fields east of Donetsk. In the summer heat, they say, they had no choice. They couldn't wait for the international inspectors to arrive. But the West has accused them of tampering with the evidence. What exactly are they trying to hide? Barack Obama asked today. 77-year-old Nadezhda Rey-Pashi saw the plane come out of the sky. It narrowly missed, obliterating her village when one of the wings landed just meters from her home. There was a huge explosion when it fell. I thought they were bombing us, she said. I lived through the Second World War, but I've never seen anything like this. Mostly eyewitnesses give us few firm clues about what actually happened. Some say they saw fighter jets in the sky just before the Boeing crashed, implying that perhaps the airliner was brought down by the Ukrainian Air Force. The Ukrainians say this is utter nonsense. The country's head of counterintelligence told us he knew the rebels had got their hands on a powerful Russian missile system known as Buk, or BUK, 3 days before MH17 was shot down.
The first information that we got was July 14th. Well, the first intelligence we possessed about the Buk M1 missile launchers going directly to Ukraine, but we couldn't confirm that information.
From Russia?
From Russia, yes. The terrorists, when they find out the remains of the plane and the bodies, terrorists try to hide all Buk M1s that were on the territory of Ukraine. Early in the morning, July 18th, 2 Buk M1s, 2 of them, trespass illegally again Ukrainian-Russian border, going back to Russia. 2 hours later, at 4 a.m., 1 more Buk missile launcher went to Russia.
So to your knowledge, there are now, at this moment, in the hands of the rebels, or the mercenaries as you call them, there are at the moment no such missile systems.
I cannot confirm, I cannot tell that they have no. We know for sure that 3 of them went back to Russia.
But they might have more?
Probably. Russia provides weapons to the terrorists on the territory of Ukraine. So it's not a civil war. It's not the rebels. These are mercenaries and terrorists.
And are your allies in the West doing enough to support Ukraine?
Yes.
There's nothing more they can do?
Well, they can do more, but they support Ukraine definitely.
But in the field of intelligence, you're getting the support you need?
To some extent.
Not quite.
Not quite.
What more would you like?
More intelligence.
If indeed pro-Russian rebels with help from Moscow did shoot down MH17, then why? A possible answer is to be found here, in the small town of Snezhne, not far from the crash site. Last week, a local rebel commander told me the Ukrainian Air Force bombed this residential block. It was early in the morning. People were at home, some maybe in the bathroom or having their breakfast. 11 people died.
The Air Force use civilian aircraft as cover. It's their tactic. They've only just stopped flying over this area, but before the crash, they did it all the time.
He says the rebels don't possess a missile capable of reaching such height. But if they did, he says,
If we knew they weren't civilian, we'd shoot them.
the mystery of how MH17 dropped out of the sky remains locked in claim and counterclaim. The investigators now begin their work in earnest. The stakes could hardly be higher.